This is the Firebird mount. You get it from clearing every single Heavensward extreme and collecting the mounts from them. Now that might sound difficult, but it's actually not bad. You can even do it completely by yourself if you have no friends or just looking for a challenge. So I went ahead and on this character I'm playing, obtained it completely solo. And I'm going to tell you about how I did that and tell you about which fights are the easiest and such so that you can also get a cool Firebird even if you are a friendless weirdo. To go in order of the extreme unlocks, Bismarck Extreme is the first one you'll have to get a mount from. And this one is honestly probably the easiest, which makes sense. Generally you'll want to go in order. The reason I think this one is so easy is because honestly there's no real damage required. You can have no idea what you're doing on your job and still be fine as long as you watch out for just a couple small mechanics. So like, I'm just playing footage of my clear here for you to watch. You'll get to watch my clears on all of these. And you know, obviously once you kill first two guys, you gotta turn on the thingy in the middle. I'm so smart with my words there. But the main thing that some people might find difficult is the cannons. You have to fire both. So after turning on that shield, I would go pre-position yourself next to one, and as soon as you press one, pop sprint and make it to the other side. I use my Reaper teleport to speed things up, and having Reaper or Dancer and a skill like that can be a big help, but you can do it with just sprint. And I see people mess this up in normal mode all the time, so I have to say it. When you go to damage Bismarck, climb onto his back. Don't stay on the island or your attacks will be useless. The other thing to worry about really is that when he summons his snake-looking friends, you have to kill them really fast. Big damage, big damage. Otherwise, well, they'll group together and buff each other and be really painful, if I recall. I can't really remember, honestly, but I'm pretty sure that's what they do. They have to be tanked separately when doing it synced for that reason. But as long as you kill the first one really fast, then the other one just goes down easy, no problem. There is a small thing to watch out for after killing them, where if he goes into the wind mechanic after the ultimate, you may get hit by a knockback, so I would hang middle after you wait patiently and maybe do a dance. Yeah, ultimates are always a little bit of a dance party. Nothing going on. Really, most of these fights, the longest amount of time in them will be spent just waiting for animations like this. Now see, after this he can choose either wind or lightning weather, and there's like different mechanics for each, but it doesn't really matter when you're this over leveled at level 90. But you gotta kill his guys. Easy enough, but like everything you kill in this fight is adds. It is so easy. As long as you can make the cannons and kill the snakes, it's a walk in the park. Now see, he chose like this rain and this windy type vibe. So that means there is going to be a knockback. I don't remember if you actually are supposed to kill the bubbles. I just did. I can't remember if it's this one or lightning. You're supposed to kill them. But yeah, now stand mid, because that knockback will throw you off the platform if you're not in mid. And then after that, you can hang near the cannons, because they will trigger again here. As you can see, he goes down like within a couple hits. It's really no big deal. This fight is definitely the easiest damage-wise. If you're not confident on your class, this is a good fight to start with. And that's all there is to clearing Bismarck, and then you just keep doing it until you get the Mount Whistle. And then you move on to the next fight. The next one is Ravana, which is also very much a walk in the park. If you have decent enough damage, you can kill him in like 30 seconds. I'm not even kidding. It's less mechanical, but more hit him hard. Yeah, there's really not much to say about Ravana. He dies in like 30-40 seconds with good damage. You might personally find him easier than Bismarck if you're comfortable in your class damage, but more annoyed by mechanics. Bismarck is more mechanical, Ravana's more hit hard, do big damage. Really, they're both just as easy. I personally think Bismarck is more zone out, don't pay attention, but that's just me. But as you can see, this guy goes down so fast. Just nuke him over and over, take his bird, and then move on to the next fight. Up next on the unlock list is Thordan Extreme, but Thordan is one of the hardest ones to solo. Him and Sephirot are the two ones that are the most difficult. I would suggest leaving them until last if you're new to attempting to solo things. They're going to provide a bit of an actual challenge for you. Most of the Thordan fight is actually pretty straightforward. It's only towards the end you'll see the difficulty. Just focus on doing as much damage to Thordan himself as possible, because at the end you have to out DPS that mechanic where he throws a spear. Like, he throws the spear, like, he killed Orshfont, very sad. Like, the spear gets thrown, and I think it's aimed at a healer, usually, and a tank has to intercept, but it will destroy you, even overleveled, I discovered at some point in the past. This might change in the future, or it might have already changed. It's been a while since I actually saw the mechanic. But overall, skip it. Skip it if possible. These guys, you just gotta do their mechanics, honestly. That's all there is to it. You're gonna get a paralysis from these towers. Not much you can do about it, because there's only one of you. Not sure it's even worth taking a tower. I do it just for the funsies, but... beat him down to 0.1% health, and then wait for the next one to happen. Most of your time in this fight will be spent waiting for these guys to transition between their little phases, because it's just, they die so fast and then they, don't know what to do with you. Make sure you're not in line with these guys to not get hit back. As you can see, I got hit and thrown to the wall. It doesn't hurt you much, but you want to hold on to your health in case you do see that spear mechanic. These two will buff each other if left alive for too long, so similar to the Bismarck snakes, take one out ASAP. Otherwise, one gets a sword buff, one gets a shield buff, and it just gets more annoying. I think it's doable, but it's obnoxious, and I prefer to just kill one and skip it. Now a little dance party. Yeah, you'll be targeted for everything. This is fine and normal, and you will survive. You just kill all these meteors, but as you're doing so, don't use your burst. Hold your best, bursting skills for when Thordan comes back. I'm using the meteors to try and, enable my Enshroud here so that when Thordan comes back, I can just hit him with Enshroud. And if you missed one, it's not a big deal. I got hit by one in another pole, and it didn't do very much damage at all. Thordan doesn't let you have a dance party. He doesn't like it. He does still have one of the coolest, screen effects for his ultimate, ever, though. Yeah, now you just kill him. Kill him fast. You don't want his mechanics to happen. Most of them are probably fine, but you don't want to reach the spear mechanic because last I checked, it kills you. That'll probably change with Dawn Trail, maybe, unless it's just that bad. Fun fact is, if you approach this as a tank and can't out DPS it, You can actually survive the spear attack with a well-timed invuln. The timing has to be just right, but I did it with a Super Bowl light. I wish I had the footage of it. I don't feel like doing it again. I've done most of these on both tank and DPS for the record, so they're pretty doable, any class. But now let's move on to the next fight. Next up is Nidhogg, one of my all-time favorite trials, personally. He's one of my favorite villains in the game, and his bird is pretty cool too. I mean, look at it, it's like Evil Void Bird. But this fight brings us back to nice, easy ones, because it's not hard. There's really only one thing I'll suggest you look out for in the very end. Beyond that, it's mostly hit him till he dies. Classic strategy. It doesn't even really matter what order you take out those ads in, I find. All three die so fast, it doesn't matter at all. And then, of course, you can have a dance party as he turns into Estinian. Maybe cry a little if you're a diehard Estinian fan. I like to pretend I'm cool and use epic gamer strats, placing that just far enough where I can get in melee range on the other side without being in it. But honestly, you can probably eat it. And then Glowy Nidhogg. Now here's where you need to watch out just a little bit, because Akmorn still hurts pretty bad. Akmorn is the repeated stack that's happening right now, so, I popped my little Reaper shield. But, I'd recommend popping Bloodbath as you're attacking during Akmorn, because that will bring back, your health, or any similar skill on whatever class you're playing. This is just from a melee DPS point of view. And of course, second wind after it's over. Honestly, this was not as good a run for me. I can usually kill him just after the stack ends, so, that's possible. And that's pretty much it. You just do it over and over until you get the mount once again. And then you move on to the next one. We've reached the Warring Triad, and the first of them is Sephirot Extreme, who is the other somewhat difficult one on this list. I would recommend leaving him until the end with Thordan if you're uncertain on what you're doing. He can be a little difficult for reasons you'll see in a second. Do as much damage as you can to him out the gate, because there is a decent DPS check in terms of where you can go. The first phase here is just straightforward, hit him. Hit him, hit him, hit him. Then kill his ads. They go down really fast, or you don't even need to expend a ton of effort on them. You'll notice I believe I also used these ads to build up Enshroud, because I wanted it for the next phase, because I need to do big damage to Sephirot himself. That's what the hardest fights in this have in common, Thordan and Sephirot. It's really about a DPS check to the point you can't continue. And that point will get pushed further and further back, especially when Dawn Trail drops. Here's where it gets fun. Now, I honestly didn't remember any of these mechanics doing it because I hadn't been in his fight in such a long time. So I would suggest making sure you actually go to the correct side of the arena for the attacks, and you won't get unnecessary damage downs. You can ignore most of what's going on, just he's gonna do that. Make sure you go to the right side of the arena based on your debuff. If you need to. If you do fine without it, then whatever. Now these towers are the problem. If you have two people, it's no big deal, he'll go down easy. But if you're soloing, then these towers cause you a lot of pain, and so then you're limited. You have to kill him before the extra damage you're taking thanks to missing a tower takes you out. Which is why I hung up front with those circles and just DPS'd my little heart out. As well as making sure to use things like Bloodbath and Second Wind to keep my health up. Now you might be looking at these hard ones and thinking, but that's not hard. It depends, honestly. It might be hard for some people who don't know their class rotations as well, or who are new to endgame. They're the hardest of these, but you might go in and find none of them are hard at all. Especially if you're like a Savage Raider or something. But, you know, a casual player might go in and find these difficult. I don't judge. I'm just telling you what to expect. Anyway, next on the list is Sophia, who is also a very easy extreme to solo, as long as you don't fall off the platform. That is the only thing you have to look out for, really. Stay on the platform, and you can have this golden bird. It really is pretty straightforward here. Hit her till she dies. Honestly, I didn't do any of these mechanics. I just ate them. If you find yourself struggling at all, it might be worth looking up a guide to Sophia Extreme and just making sure you do the mechanics. But I didn't find I needed to. I found as I just followed basic AoEs and ate anything else, and I was fine. There was one time this bit threw me off the platform. I think I might have actually hit arm's length in this clip because of it. Because I was afraid after that. And I don't know what happened. So that might happen, but you can always just pull again. These guys usually have a set order you need to kill them in when you're doing this like synced or whatever, but it doesn't matter here. They all go down so fast, none of them are gonna get anything done. Also, note, you can keep hitting her until that shield goes up. When she first teleports to the edge, you can keep hitting her till that shield goes up. Don't stop. This is where you don't fall off. If you just always head east first, like I did, you should be fine. I never saw her start with the other side. So just when she goes to do her ultimate, move east, and just go with the slide. And then again, back to hitting her till she dies. You don't even get a dance party in this fight because nowhere to just stand. And then that's all there is to it for her. And that leaves only one fight left, and it is probably one of the easiest ones. Up next is Zurvan, and honestly, forget skipping Soar. You're skipping everything. That's how it goes. That's how you get this awesome bird. You really will just take out most of his health while he's trapped up here like this. Once again, the only rule is don't fall. Really, staying around the spot you spawned in will serve you just fine in terms of not falling. I have seen with a proper group of like 4 or 5 people, him going down to like 0.1% and just dying when poked as soon as he gets down to the bottom. Because apparently you can't kill him up here. It'll force you to wait until the phase change. There will be a little ice circle under him that gives you heavy down here, but it really doesn't matter. You're skipping everything. Who cares if you stand in some ice? But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. An easy fight for an easy finale, because Zurvan was kind of a loser. And so was I. He had the last laugh there, as you can see. I know. I know. Clear your inventories before doing this, people. But now that you've gotten all of those birds, you can finally get the one I showed you like 20 minutes ago. Just head over to Idleshire, and you'll find a pretty obviously named quest right by the Aetheryte. To add on some technical information here at the end, make sure you are doing the Duty Finder with an unrestricted party so that you're going in at level 90. You will not be able to solo these at level 60. Trust me. The other thing I want to point out is my gear is not like best in stat endgame gear. This character's an alt, so he has basically the bare minimum of I did some normal raids and bought some crafted gear. So you don't need like best in stat item level as of right now, where patch 6.5 part 1 is current. And the standards will change. Dawntrail probably will render this whole thing irrelevant, and all of them will be as easy as the horses. It's just something I thought people might enjoy doing while waiting for the next X pack to drop, especially if they don't have these mounts yet, because that's like 8 whole mounts you can get just from doing this all by yourself. That's really all I have to say. Thanks for sticking around. I don't usually make stuff like this, so I apologize if it seems like weird or patchy or like messy. I don't usually make properly edited videos. Most of my stuff is just random funny moments mashed together for my friends to admire. So I hope this was helpful either way. So, as the real YouTubers say, thank you for watching.